address that wrong.
There's not a lot of love for changing Pageant Day in Adelaide. An Adelaide City Councillor has floated the idea of shifting the event from Saturday to a Sunday. Pageant Director Brian Gilbertson doesn't like the idea.
It's become a tradition over 90 years on a Saturday morning. The only time we would change that to another Saturday is on Remembrance Day, out of respect for another tradition. I think these are important things in our lives, and there are many thousands of people who plan their times around, the second Saturday in November.
Westpac has joined its rivals, the National Australia Bank and ANZ, in lifting its home loan rates from next Friday. All three major lenders have passed on the Reserve Bank's 0.25% interest rate rise. The Commonwealth is yet to declare its intentions. Some smaller lenders have also passed on the increase to their customers. Russia is holding Ukraine responsible for an alleged attack on Vladimir Putin's presidential home. Kremlin defences claim they shot down 2 drones that targeted the president's life. But US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Russia's allegation should be taken with a grain of salt.
I've seen the reports. I can't in any way validate them. We simply don't know. Second, I would take anything coming out of the Kremlin with a very large shaker of salt.
A 13-year-old has been arrested in Serbia after a shooting rampage at a primary school. It's alleged the teenager fatally shot 8 students and a security guard in a premeditated attack. The country is preparing for 3 days of national mourning. Jenny Craig is reportedly shutting up shop in the US due to financial problems. But the weight loss company says operations in Australia and New Zealand act independently, and it'll be business as usual here. Now turning to 5AA Sport. It's selection night in the AFL. The Crows play Geelong in Geelong this weekend, and Port take on Essendon at home. Erling Haaland has broken Alan Shearer's record for the most goals scored in an EPL season. The Norwegian striker slotted his 35th goal as Manchester City beat West Ham 3-0 today.
Now City can bring it forward. Haaland waiting for it. Erling Haaland keeps doing what Erling Haaland does. Breaking defences, breaking records in what is now the most prolific season in Premier League history.
That audio from Optus Sport. City is now back on top of the table, overtaking Arsenal. The Kieran Maher and David Eustace trained Rockstar Ronnie has taken out this year's grand annual steeplechase at Warrnambool. Favourite Stern Idol failed to finish, and Boston has thumped Philadelphia 121-87 to level their NBA East Conference semi-final 1-1. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Northgate, got urgent sewer works, Foster's Road near Grey Street. At Clemsey, urgent sewer works there too, North East Road near Windsor Grove. Busy at the moment, Main North Road at Prospect Road. Slow for works at Munno Paragot, lane close there. Main North Road near Mile Avenue, speeds at 40. With cameras today, Briar Road, Felixstowe and Gate Street at Firle. Did you know it took 21 attempts to create Guzmani Gomez's perfectly crunchy corn chips, which are made fresh in store every day? Look up hashtag GYG Did You Know for more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA's forecast now cloudy for the rest of the day. Tomorrow showers a top of 18. Saturday showers and 16 and a possible shower 16 again on Sunday. Currently it's 16 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
The heartwarming message from the family of an SA police officer critically injured in the line of duty. An unregistered doctor busted treating patients in a South Australian hospital. See an e-scooter rider being chased at 100 kilometres an hour, and we'll run you through major changes to how paracetamol is sold. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
For Tasmanian football, there's been no bigger day than today. Tasmania have joined the AFL.
This is a football state.
Correct.
They'll win a flag before Gold Coast Suns. 100%.
Rowie and Timmy G.
Government's involved. It'll unite the island. They've got the talent. They don't have to go and get an Izzy Folau or a Carmichael Hunt. They've got them. I want them to be competitive. And a strong Tassie would be great for this comp.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA. Folks travel far and wide to meet Trev from Rollerco.
G'day, is Trev around? Oh, sorry mate, he's with a customer right now.
Trev's always eager to please. Just pat him on the belly and he'll do anything for you. Oh yes, Trev said you can order your sliding door or window parts online and he'll organise delivery to your door. Rollerco.com.au. They'll get you rolling. No, I'm not patting you on the belly. Oh, all right.
Okay, it's the final question in the sports round. For 10 points, jockey Luke Nolan drives what type of car?
It's a 78 Leyland Mini.
Correct.
Mate, how did you know that?
Saw it on the hub.
Introducing the new Ladbrokes Hub. Access videos, race day insights and industry experts all in the Ladbrokes app. Ladbroke it. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Saying goodbye can be heartbreaking, but we see things differently. Our new litter of puppies need love and care before they start school to become a guide or assistance dog. Yes, one day you'll have to say goodbye, knowing that someone in need will have their life changed forever. RSB is now called See Differently, and we ask you to do the same. If you love helping others, please go to seedifferently.org.au to help raise a puppy and change a life.
I like to call it a passion. I can be sitting relaxing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. Back then, wasn't worried about me though. In the gym, trying to work on my free throw. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in.
The new Kia Seltos. That's what's poppin'. And yeah, it's got options. The new Kia Seltos. The word is out.
Brand new whip, just hopped in.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the team at Lynn Andrews Real Estate have made it easy to manage residential and commercial property. Whether you own a single residential home or multiple commercial properties, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge to share. How to invest safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Whether a hobby or a full-blown dairy and livestock farm, they all have one thing in common. The need for good quality steel to keep livestock safe and secure. At Nor Metals, we have just that. From rural fencing and gates to droppers, loading ramps and more, you'll find what you need for your farm. And if we don't, we'll source it for you quickly and at the best price. No matter what kind of farm you have, we'll help you out. At Nor Metals, 255 Grand Junction Road, Ottaway.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
You better get a lawyer, son. You better get a real good one. You better get a lawyer, son. You better get a real good one.
Welcome to the Legal Show. We're joined in the studio by Tim Downey from Johnston Withers Lawyers. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Jade. Thanks for having me.
And now I want to kick things off. In a moment, we are going to be talking about the AFL's, well, where do they stand in, I guess, taking on Warner Brothers to be able to call the Tasmanian team the Tassie Devils. We're going to just park that for a little minute because I have been handed a press release from SA Health a little earlier in the program. And now I will read you the first couple of lines from it. Investigations are underway after a doctor without registration worked in the Port Augusta Hospital emergency department for 6 days. A locum doctor supervising at the regional emergency department has also been stood down over the incident pending investigation. Now, the person in question had been offered a place as an intern and had been undertaking limited education sessions in Whyalla pending the arrival of his registration. The matter has been referred to SA Police, the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Authority, and other investigative bodies for further action. Now, I would like to ask you, if someone was treated by this person, could they take legal action?
It's a very good question, Jade. And if we look at those dates, 24 April to Tuesday 2 May, so it's only this week. It's very, very recent. So 6 days, there'll be quite a lot of people that would have gone through the hospital, the emergency section at that time, I would have thought. Look, anyone who has been treated by this particular doctor, because he's a doctor as I can understand it, he's just simply not registered, they would really be like anyone else if the treatment that he provided was substandard. Then they would most certainly have a very good case, and the case I would think would have a bit of extra oomph because really the hospital can't rely on the fact that this was a registered practitioner. So I think that would make anyone defending the claim, it would make their job a little bit harder. But look, having said that, you would still have to establish that the treatment that he provided was substandard.
Yep.
And so I think more than anything, this might be a situation where those people affected might sensibly go back to the hospital and revisit the treatment that was recommended or provided, and perhaps satisfy themselves that it was appropriate. They also can register with the Australian Health Practitioner Authority, Regulation Authority, APRA, and APRA is the police body, if you like, that looks after us when it comes to our dealings with the medical world. So when you have a direct problem with medical treatment you've provided, APRA is the body that you go to. In South Australia, you can also go to the Health Services Commissioner, so who's like an ombudsman here. So there's two bodies people I would recommend would contact about this. And I note there is a phone number that Health have provided for people to ring in the first instance. So you'd encourage people to use that number, ring them, and just have a chat. But again, look, if you've gone in for a very rudimentary treatment and you were satisfied with the treatment, I wouldn't have thought there's any reason to panic. We have this happen in law almost once a year, it seems, where someone is caught up, or someone's busted, if you like, for holding themselves out to be a lawyer when they don't have when they're not registered to be a lawyer.
So have they even done the uni course?
I can only think of one really rare example where someone who literally was not a lawyer would not have done the course or anything. Just
they've watched Legally Blonde and then they've gone into the courtroom.
Yeah, that's it, and they've given it a crack.
Object.
Exactly, given it a good old crack and just seen. And medically, that has happened as well. I can think of a few instances where people have literally jumped into a hospital and put on a gown or a white
scrubs
coat.
and off they go.
Yeah.
What would drive someone to do that?
Delusions of grandeur, generally. So it's a Walter Mitty type personality that's seen it. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie, but there was a movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in, Catch Me If You Can. And that was about a chap who had held himself out to be a doctor for many years, and then held himself out to be an airline pilot.
Right.
Yeah.
He scammed his way through life, didn't he?
Yeah. That was a true story. And that's happened in the law. It's happened in Australia, but mainly it's people whose registration, for example, has lapsed, but they can't help themselves. And they just keep giving out advice, and in the end someone will say to someone else, oh, this lawyer told me this, and then it'll work out that they're not a lawyer.
Right.
This is all really relevant because it wouldn't be relevant for this case because it happened in a hospital setting. But if your doctor is not registered or your lawyer is not registered, then they're not going to be insured.
Yes, so true.
So our insurance...
So what then?
Well, you'd be suing them as an individual. You'd have serious issues trying to, get sort of insurable losses.
Well, it says here that the unregistered doctor treated at least 15 patients and the hospital is making contact with them to inform them of the situation. But the next line is probably a bit of a question mark here. The man had previously been registered and worked as a doctor in Australia and overseas. However, he has previously faced disciplinary action.
Well, yeah. And so what was that particular disciplinary action about? Was it a failure to provide,
adequate care?
Adequate care? Or was it for inappropriate behaviours or what? And, we don't know.
Oh, dear, that's bizarre.
Yeah. So that's an unusual one.
That is an unusual one. We are going to take a short break, but if you guys would like to join the program and ask Tim Downey from Johnston Withers Lawyers any question at all, doesn't have to be related to what we're talking about, just any legal advice, 8223 0000 is the number to call. On the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about trademarks. So we've been hearing in the media the last couple of days, we know that Tassie are getting the 19th AFL team, which is fabulous news. A lot of people are presuming that they'll be called the Tassie Devils, but as we've been learning throughout the week, Warner Brothers have a trademark over that. So where do they stand? We'll find out next.
We walked in and our entire place was ransacked. The TV was smashed.
No.
The couch was slashed.
What?
My record player and records were all broken.
You must have been freaking out.
Then we saw the possum.
Wait, what? Possum did all that damage?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Unexpected things happen. That's why if you're renting, consider contents insurance from RAA, so you can keep on moving on. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Consider the PDS and TMD. Product issued by RAA Insurance, available from RAA.
I don't know, but I've been told. I don't know, but I've been told. Game multis are good as gold. Game multis are good as gold.
Take on the fun with a Ladbrokes same game multi. Ladbroke it. You win some, you lose more.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Now more than ever, you need an agent who's not just out for a quick sale. You need someone who can stand their ground to ensure you're maximising your home's potential. There's a good reason Toop and Toop is defying market trends and continuing to deliver premium outcomes for its clients. With a history spanning almost 40 years and a team of unrivalled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results in any selling conditions. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
Every 30 minutes, one Australian loses their life to heart disease. But it takes less than 30 minutes to know your risk. With Heart Week happening now until the 7th of May, you can take 3 simple steps to keep your heart healthy. Get your blood pressure measured, go online to calculate your heart age, or book a heart health check with your GP. Learn more today at heartfoundation.org.au/heartweek.
Mother's Day is easy peasy at Cheapest Chips with these mother lovin' deals. Spoil mum with the Germanica dual air fryer, just $129. Mum can kick her feet up with the Vibration Max Legs, just $169. Save $70. Or pamper her with 50ml L'Oreal face creams, only $19.99 each. Plus, you could win mum a $1,000 Cheapest Chips prize pack. Enter at cheapestchips.com or via Facebook. T's and C's apply. Make mum's day with mother lovin' deals at Cheapest Chips.
Now's the time to be informed. Find out what the federal budget means for the nation's economic future and your hip pocket, with in-depth analysis from Australia's best journalists and commentators. Visit theaustralian.com.au. The Australian, for the informed Australian.
South Australia's History Festival is here. All May, let the History Trust of South Australia ignite your curiosity and inspire you to wonder. From ghost tours to gardening, architecture, art and ancient wines. Pick up a program from Foodland supermarkets across SA to explore the talks, tours, exhibitions, dinners, dances, wine tastings and much more. With events for all ages and interests across SA. Connect with the sights and stories that make our state great. Book tickets and find out more at festival.history.sa.gov.au.
Jade Robran, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
Welcome back to Afternoons. It is 20 minutes past 3 o'clock. We are talking all things legal with Tim Downey from Johnston Withers Lawyers, and Michelle from Morphettvale has called in to ask you a question. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Jade. I have a question, and it's in regards to work cover, Return to Work SA legislation. And there's 2 types of injuries you can get, one being a physical, one being a psychological. If you receive a psychological injury and you are deemed as a permanently disabled, you're a seriously injured worker, there's no compensation available to apply. I was just wondering, Tim, is there anything else that can be done?
Well, Michelle, it's a good question. We've got a strange act in that sense, and even the previous act was the same, where you're not entitled to a lump sum benefit by way of a psychiatric injury. You are entitled to effectively 2 years of income, and you're entitled to your medical expenses for a year after that, or for such length of time, or a year after when you're cut off from weeklies. But yeah, it's a very, I've always found that a very odd situation in this day and age, that you're not entitled to a lump sum for a psychiatric injury, yet you are for a broken arm or a broken leg. Just seems odd to me that we have that distinction in this day and age, where psychiatric injuries, although they're a little bit they're more difficult to assess, I suppose, but they're still accessible by way of a permanent impairment. There's lots of different assessment models like the GEPIC that can be used to assess someone's percentage of impairment through a psychiatric injury, and yet we don't have lump sum benefits. So, yeah, that's the current situation.
So they say that like after the 2 years you do a whole person impairment to decide whether you are. It was 30%. Has it gone up?
Yeah, so it's now gone up. That's good. A good point, Michelle. So it's now gone up to 35%, unless you had a part assessment prior to 31 December last year, and then now you have the rest of this year to finish off your assessment. But long and short of it is, you now have to be 35%. So it is, very high now to become a seriously injured worker.
Husband received 48% whole person impairment psychological injury, and so he has continued on receiving his 80% of his basic wage and his medical expenses for the rest of his life. However, in order to get that whole person impairment, they say that you have to be measured, which is what brings it to 48%. But they say that we can't receive compensation because a psychological injury can't be measured.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that, I disagree with that legislation because I think it can be measured. There are various models that are used. Comcare, the Commonwealth scheme, measures it. Even the MVA measures it. The motor vehicle scheme we've got uses an assessment tool called the GEPIC. But look, Michelle, it's a very long topic and a difficult topic, of course. But yeah, and that, I suppose the message for the other listeners is that we don't have lump sum compensation for psychiatric injury.
That seems cruel, doesn't it? That seems bizarre.
Yeah, it's odd. I think it's odd.
Let's quickly go to this story that many people have been talking about this week about, Tassie. It's set to join the AFL as the 19th team, which is great news. A lot of people are saying that they should be called the Tasmanian Devils, but there is a big but, because Warner Brothers has trademarked it because of this little fella who appears in the Bugs Bunny show.
Oh, step lively, mates. There's a Tasmanian devil.
Stand in all of this.
Well, yeah, he's not a character that we're that familiar is.
No.
Is he? And my first thinking was, did Tasmania, the state, ever get compensated for Warner Brothers using its name in one of their cartoon characters? But anyway, they're going to have to do a deal, Jade. In the end, a trademark. You own, and you own the exclusive rights. So that little cartoon character that you can see, that's a registered, under our Act, a registered sign. Mm-hmm. And so no one can go around using that for commercial benefit, because the Tasmanian Devils is a name that's actually used by the AFL already, believe it or not, for an under 18s. I think under 18s, but they're not using it for commercial purposes. Okay.
But what if they were called? Okay, I don't know what it just that's trademarked under Tassie Devil.
Yeah.
Could they call themselves the Tasmanian Devils?
No, I would suggest that would be way too close.
Right.
But look, you could give that a try,
Mm-hmm.
and you could. You certainly couldn't use anything of the likeness of the cartoon character. That would be a massive no-no. But I think more likely, when you own a trademark, you've got exclusive use, but you can also assign the use. So I would suspect that the big boss Gillen, or now who's the new big boss, Adrian, will get on the phone to Mr. Warner Brothers, Andrew Dillon, sorry, and get on the phone to Warner Brothers and say, look, we'll give you, 5% of everything we earn off this merchandise. And it would do you the world of good because, you've got your Tassie Devils, there's synergy there. Yeah. And more so, we want to use that emblem, or we want to use that character as our
the mascot.
As our mascot.
It'll freak kids out.
Yeah, but then kids would look at it and start watching, go back 40 years to the cartoon when the cartoon was on.
So true.
I think there's a bit in that. There's a case, and this is just coincidental, it came down a week ago, which was Katy Perry, the mega pop star. Her name, the name Katy Perry, but spelt differently, spelt with a Y and not an IE, is also an Aussie designer. So there was an Aussie designer called Katy Perry, and in 2008 she began producing her own clothes, and she would under the label Katy Perry. So she registered that name as a trademark in 2009. So it registered just like our little Tassie Devils registered, so no one can really use that name. And then, of course, along comes Catherine Hudson, a.k.a. Katy Perry.
The pop star.
The pop star. And in comes a range of clothes with the label Katy Perry. So, of course, our little Aussie battler designer got on the phone and said, well, hang on, that's my name and my label, and I've, registered it. And they sort of bullied her and told her to nick off and, you get out of our way and everything. And eventually in the federal court, she sued. And she last week won, which was good for her. So she got a judgment in her favour. The judge came down ultimately and said, well, it's clearly an unfair use of her pre-existing trade and trademark, and they will have to pay some form of damage for using it.
Wow. Good on her. Go girl. It's like the castle.
Go girl.
Hello, Diane.
Hi, how you going?
Good, thanks.
I was just listening to the story and with the having the Tasmanian devil as a trademark.
Yeah.
But over on Maria Island in Tasmania, they have the Cape Barren geese. So why couldn't they go to Tasmanian Barrens?
Tasmanian Barren. Well, I can't imagine anyone else is trading that name.
No. Well, we'll put it to the list of suggestions because we've had a lot of suggestions.
If they're not going to get any goals in the first game, they're going to be, the commentator will say the scoreboard was barren for the Barons. That's what springs to my mind.
Let's go to, we've run out of time. I'm sorry, Simon. Call in next time and we will make sure we answer your question. Tim Downey, thank you so much for coming in. It's an interesting one, this one. I don't know that they're going to win. But they should be called the Tassie Devils.
Absolutely.
This is just the thing.
No, I think they'll do a deal. I really do. I'm not
kidding.
Yeah. I definitely think they'll do a deal. Why would Warner Brothers not want to do a deal? It's good for them.
True. And then they can make a movie about the Tassie Devil, you name it. Bugs Bunny comes back.
The team that lost to the Crows.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jade.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
David Bruce with the latest news headlines. One of the two police officers injured in yesterday's stabbing attack in Crystal Brook has been released from hospital, while the other is in a stable condition after intensive surgery overnight. A 15% pay rise is expected to attract thousands more workers to the aged care sector. A Green senator is suing One Nation's Pauline Hanson over what she says was a racist tweet calling for her to go back to Pakistan. And it's selection night for both the Crows and the Power ahead of their round 8 matches this weekend. Rowie and Timmy G will have all the details later in the FIVEAA Sports Show. Now the FIVEAA forecast: showers a top of 18 tomorrow. Currently it is 16 degrees. More news at 4 and as it happens on FIVEAA.
Did you know you can explore Aldi's catalogue online so you can enjoy our low prices here?
Or even here.
Browse Aldi's online catalogue at aldi.com.au or pick up a printed version in store. Aldi, good, different.
G'day, Tom Wren here. Greyhounds love to run, and greyhound fans love Thursday nights at Angle Park. For top greyhound racing, a great family atmosphere and the amazing food, Chase's Restaurant is offering a full a la carte menu to ensure you have a fantastic night out. Chips, wedges, through to classics like burgers, fish and chips, schnitties and steaks. Yum! Grab the whole family and get to the park to watch those dogs go. Every Thursday night at Angle Park Greyhounds.
Has your family run into a legal dispute? Have you had an injury or car accident you believe you can claim for? Has someone left a will that you want to challenge? If you find yourselves needing a lawyer, you need the team at Johnston Withers. Johnston Withers is a legal firm with over 75 years' experience, and they've just expanded north with an office in Salisbury. They've got plenty of expertise in family law, personal injury, motor accident claims, wills and estates, workers' compensation, asbestos claims and much more. Every second Thursday, like we did just now with Tim, we'll be talking about current legal issues with the legal experts from Johnston Withers. But you can give them a buzz anytime. Johnston Withers Lawyers, when experience matters. City, Salisbury and online at johnstonwithers.com.au.
Annual hearing checks are an important part of your general health and wellbeing regime. If you're over 26, you can book a free hearing check with the experts at Audica. If you have a detected hearing loss, Audica offers a 2-week free hearing aid trial, so you can experience our hearing aids in your own home, with your loved ones around you. With over 350 clinics, find one near you and book a free hearing check today. Visit audica.com.au or call 1-800-HEARING.
Need an electrician? Ken Hall Electricians. We're qualified electricians for power points, sensor lights, smoke alarms, rewires and inspections. And we're as local as you. So give Ken a call. Ken Hall Electricians, 8364 5855.
As history unfolds, Sunrise has it all covered weekdays from 5:30 a.m. The once-in-a-lifetime crowning of a king.
From sunrise, you'll see it all right here.
The coronation of King Charles III on 7 and 7+.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores, from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
$13.95. Adelaide's FIVEAA. This is Jade Robran.
Welcome back to Afternoons. It's 25 minutes to 4 o'clock. Well, we're just days away before King Charles is officially made king. The coronation will be held on Saturday night, our time. Let's head over to the UK, where we are joined by News Corp reporter Danielle Guzmaloni. Thank you so much for your time. How are you, Danielle?
Good. Slightly lacking in sleep, but lots of work to do, lots of reporting. But yes, it's an exciting occasion and people are getting in the mood for the King's coronation on Saturday.
Well, what's it like on the ground? Have you seen rehearsals? Is there a real vibe around the town?
Oh yeah, the city has come alive. It's come out of the winter. The sun is shining. There've been major rehearsals through the night. The main road through which the procession will play out, the Mall leading to Buckingham Palace, was closed off 2 days ago for more than 5 hours while thousands of troops from the Commonwealth countries put their best foot forward, rehearsing for the actual parade on the day. We've had meetings with the Metropolitan Police to say that more than 2,000 officers will be drafted in on the day to ensure that there are no troubles and that the event passes smoothly. There are people organising their street parties, even though there are, how many days to go now? 3 days to go. They've already put up the bunting. They've got permission from the local councils to get their parties underway. There's even going to be a parade on Saturday at one of the street events of more than 50 corgis in memory of the Queen. So, people are already camping out on the Mall to get their best spots to watch the carriages go past when the King and Queen Camilla are crowned. So there's a lot going on. The British people certainly know how to throw a party. It will be pretty amazing on the day. A real Technicolor dream, I think. It will be spectacular.
And King Charles has been out and about hosting a garden party, and we had some pop stars. Lionel Richie was there, I think.
Yes, Lionel Richie was there, and various other celebrities. Yes, he's getting into he's very good friends, I believe, with Lionel Richie. They go back some time. And yes, there's been a big stage also that's been erected at Windsor, in the grounds of Windsor Castle, for the huge coronation on the following day, where Lionel Richie and various other celebrities, Katy Perry, Take That, will be performing to celebrate the King and Queen getting anointed.
Oh, it's getting very exciting. Danielle, thank you so much for joining us.
Good. No problem.
Thank you so much. And you can read more coronation updates from Danielle in the Advertiser and also online at adelaidenow.com.au. We are going to take a short break. On the other side, yesterday we didn't get a chance to talk with Greg Champion. He is the man behind writing so many AFL songs, including the Crow song. He came second to writing the Port Power Club song, and I have it here. The song that came second. Nobody has heard it before. I'm going to play it for you and see what you think. But he is getting excited because he's about to put pen to paper to lodge a song for the new Tassie team. That chat's coming up next.
Join us every Friday just after 3 p.m. when renowned Adelaide chef Chris Jarma joins Jade Robran for the FIVEAA Food and Wine Show. Thanks to Smeg, seamlessly pairing performance with design. Taste the difference with Smeg. They have the perfect partner for every dish.
Lads, where are we thinking for our same race multi?
Let's see. With Ladbrokes, we can place one at Doomben, Moonee Valley.
Bet on more tracks and race codes than ever before with the Ladbrokes same race multi. T's and C's apply. See website for details. You win some, you lose more.
Gentlemen, is the urge to pee all the time getting in the way of your everyday life? Caruso's Pee Less to the rescue. Caruso's Pee Less is a unique herbal formula that relieves urinary frequency and helps support healthy bladder and prostate function. So, if you'd like to pee less, try Caruso's Pee Less today. Caruso's Pee Less is made in Australia and comes with a money-back guarantee. Available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
So many lives are impacted by breast cancer. It's never an easy thing to face. But Calvary SA's recently expanded breast and endocrine service is here if you need it. It can be helpful to understand your risk factors with a family history review or have suspicious lumps checked. Calvary's expert team offers quality patient care tailored to individual needs to help you through your entire journey. They will guide you through every step, and together with service providers on site, you can be rest assured that you're in good hands. If you have breast concerns, ask your GP for a referral and get access to immediate appointments with experienced medical specialists. Search Calvary SA Breast and Endocrine Service for more information. Available at Calvary North Adelaide Hospital and Calvary Central Districts Hospital in Elizabeth Vale.
Fancy a wine? You'll find a huge hand-picked selection at your local independent SA family liquor store, FIVEAA. Or if you fancy a beer, you'll find the very best local, imported and craft beer at FIVEAA too. But if you fancy spirits, you'll find whiskies, gins and liquors for all tastes at FIVEAA. And you'll find friendly service and advice too. Whatever you fancy, you'll find it at FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor stores for over 45 years.
How do you become a home hero? Easy. You fix that sliding door that's been dragging and scraping, well, you get it. You've been living it. Call Rollerco. Rollerco will have the parts you need and they'll tell you how to fix it too. You'll be an instant home hero. Well, in sliding doors anyway. Say goodbye to dragging and scraping sliding doors. Visit rollerco.com.au. They'll get you rolling.
You've signed a building contract. Work is underway on your dream home. Then, your builder hits rock while digging your footings. What happens? Most builders will send you a nice letter and then bump up their price with a variation. Not Rossdale Homes. When you sign their absolute fixed price contract, there are no hidden costs and no nasty surprises. It's the industry's strongest contract. So talk to Adelaide's most trusted builder, Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
Brain tumour, migraine, dementia, concussion.
Have you
dyslexia,
or someone you love
MSA,
been touched by a brain disorder, disease or injury?
motor neurone disease, stroke, epilepsy, Alzheimer's,
There can be no cure
Dystonia,
without research.
Parkinson's.
Help the ones you love by donating to research today. Visit brainfoundation.org.au or call 1300 88 660.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Welcome back to Afternoons. We are on live stream, all thanks to Foodland Supermarkets. You can jump online at 5AA.com.au, on Facebook and also YouTube. I want to ask you guys, what is your favourite AFL song? I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I like, the old school ones, Geelong, Swannies, Richmond, St Kilda. What's yours? 8223 Our next guest is responsible for this absolute cracker.
That's what I like about, yeah, there's a thing about.
Very busy coming up with a tune for the Apple Isle. Aussie musician Greg Champion joins us. Lovely to have you on the program. Good afternoon.
Oh, pleasure to be with you.
So, Greg, exciting news coming out of Tassie today. They have an AFL site. Has that got your creative singer-songwriting juices flowing?
Well, you've done that because by making me realise that they're going to need a song, you've triggered me to think, I better jump on the bandwagon and get something going for them that I can offer and submit.
No better person to do the job. How many songs do you reckon you've written about AFL footy sides?
Well, with all the parodies, there'd be 4,000 to 5,000 because the Coolidge program is about 42 years we've been running now, so a lot. But, when it comes to the club songs, I've been involved quite heavily. I managed to, do the Crows one.
I was watching my TV with a mate just the other day. He turned to me and said, John Platt, Stephen Stretch, Craig McKellar, Waterfella, John Cale, Matt Randall, Millan, Flatter, Keith, Pathetic, Mark Williams, Russell, Lever, Kernahan, Waterman, Rick Davis, Robert Plum, Graham, Corns, Toya, Horns, Phil, Malin, Greg Phillips, Mark Keller, can't you tell it? Came from Adelaide, man. Came from Adelaide, man. South Australian made, man. Drank Woody's lemonade, man. Should have been there when they played, man. Came from Adelaide.
And I submitted for the Port one, and I was in the final two, and Brian Cunningham, the then CEO, told me it was dead heat. And then I also submitted for the Giants, so I'd like to have a crack here too, but I'm sure interested in what makes a good club song.
So what are you thinking for Tassie? What do they need? What makes a good Tassie song?
Well, that deeply I haven't gone into it, but we have been singing spoofy Tassie songs on the radio in recent weeks and having a bit of a chuckle about it. But Tassie, look, they like to dwell on their legends. They've got that string of legends with Baldock, Hart, Hutto, etc., etc. Stewart, that's four that they always... But there's, a dozen of those big names. And Tassie's got its own geographical features. So, and people talk about, will they be the, Tassie Tigers is taken, will they be the Tassie Devils, etc. So all of that will come into a song, I guess.
We put it out to our listeners yesterday and they had a whole lot of very, very good suggestions. Have you got one?
What should they be? No, I haven't. people like the green. We were discussing the green of their jumper, of the sort of, they have a state jersey with the map on it and the green, a gold map of Tassie and a green background. Well, that's a good-looking thing, and people are hoping that that will be their club jumper.
Look, I am a bit of a traditionalist. I do love the St Kildas, the Geelong, Richmond, Swannies, those type of songs. But then again, those newer ones, you mentioned Port, Suns, Greater Western Sydney, they're more modern, probably a little bit more catchier perhaps, maybe. Where do you sit?
Oh, I sit right back in the 1900s. I'm black and white. Can't stand the new ones. Some people try to tell me the Giants one's quite catchy. I don't know if you can find one person to sing you the Sun song. The Fremantle one, I think. The Fremantle one, I think, is universally despised. The Eagles song's even worse. It's a race to the bottom between the FIVEAA song and the Eagles song. The Port song was hard to comment because I was in the final two and missed in a dead heat, so I'm told. But the Crows song, that's hard to comment because I recorded it. No, none of the new ones. Look, the Crows took a traditional tune. That's a 200 or 300-year-old tune, so that gives them a bit of sense of history. FIVEAA, Eagles, Suns, no. If I'm submitting, I'll try and get something really. I think that, like you, the best ones. Everyone universally tends to agree that Richmond's is arguably the best sing-along. It's got a great tune. It just sounds good. Collingwood's is good. Carlton's is slower. Essendon's is good. Sydney's is good.
Yeah.
The Saints use a rather dull old tune when the Saints. But Hawthorn's is good. Geelong's is good. They all seem to have been recorded at the same time by the same people. And I've talked to some of those people who were involved in those recordings around the 60s or late 60s or early 70s. And they're the benchmark. And when they try and change them and update them, and this happens occasionally, but the fans hate it. And the club very quickly switches back to the original sound.
Well, can I ask you, because interestingly you say that, the more modern ones, they are harder to learn the words, and you're right. The Suns, I know a few bars, not many, but you go to the old classic ones that have got that upbeat, they're sort of repetitive. Is there actually the perfect recipe to an AFL song?
I just feel that the fans are imprinted on the sound, that old-timey sound, of those late 60s, early 70s recordings. And so having got them into their souls and their heart, there's no point flirting with them because they've grown up. I mean, all the fans, whatever age they are, they have grown, right up to the very old, they've grown up a lifetime listening to those sounds. When the clubs often, at times, have tried to update them, and they've been held down by the fans straight away. It happened at Geelong, it happened at Essendon for two occasions I can think of. So people are imprinted on that old-fashioned sound. It can't be improved. That's my angle.
Hey, I want to ask you more about the Port Adelaide song. The one that you submitted, has that ever seen the light of day? Has anyone actually heard that, other than the Port people that were making the decision?
I'll share it with you once I get off air, and you can check it for yourself and play it if you want to. Occasionally, it's on a couple of CDs, but that doesn't get it widely heard. Occasionally, it's been spoken of, but it was such a close call, as Brian Cunningham told me the story. Brian Cunningham told me that his 10-year-old son, got the deciding vote.
No way.
Well, I don't want to be controversial there because, Brian Cunningham, what a lovely gentleman.
Yeah.
And so nice to me. So he's an ornament to the game, Brian. But that's just what I recall hearing at the time. But that's not to be controversial because, however, so don't trust me when I say it's much better than the existing one.
Hey, my favourite of yours, it has to be The Thing About Football. I think I play it twice a week on my show. Have you got a favourite of yours?
Well, again, if we're talking 4 or 5,000, that's in sort of parodies that I do weekly. But as far as sort of original songs like Thing About Football, there'd be up to 50 of those. Yes, when I'm asked, the one that's not widely known, but fans know it, it's called BFL Park in the Dark. That one was sort of got a Van Morrison treatment. I think that's one of my favourites.
Do you know, I have no idea how you rolled out all of those Adelaide the South Australian players. The song that you wrote about, the could have been champions came from Adelaide. How long did it take you to remember all those South Aussie players' names?
Yeah, well, that was before the internet. That was written around 1990 or so, maybe late 80s it was, and that was before the net. So I had to do all those, from memory. Yeah, this is when people wrote songs without the googling up, reference, the names. So, but look, I'd grown up with all those names, and I'd had some fan cards.
Mm-hmm.
I had fan cards with Kenny Eustace and Lindsay Backman, etc., and David Cantilla. I've named 2 South Adelaides there, but I was a Norwood kid, and so I just did those from memory.
Wow, good memory. I tell you what. When did you start writing footy songs?
Yeah, I moved from Adelaide to Melbourne in 79, and I was introduced to the Could Have Beens on FIVEAA around 83, and that's where it began.
Are you working on anything at the moment, other than the new Tassie song, of course?
Yes, I'm due for a sort of best of footy album number 4. I've just finished that because I mix up sort of non-football albums with football albums. So I've just finished a non-football album, and they usually sync without a trace, and they go leather or lead pencil in sales, and then I'll switch back and do a volume 4 best of footy. I'll start sometime soon.
Well, we're going to have to touch base with you in a few months when you've finished tweaking the Tassie song. I can't wait to hear what you're going to come up with.
Well, it'd be lovely. It's you that's triggered the idea that I'd better get on with it and put something in and put my hat in the ring.
Oh, well, that's my pleasure.
So thank you for triggering it off. You started it. The ball rolling.
Greg, it was so nice chatting with you today. Thank you so much. And he is pretty damn good at writing a good song, isn't he? Now, you might remember earlier in the chat then, he mentioned that he came second to producing the Port Adelaide Club song. So he has sent it to us while we're having a chat. Here it is. For the first time ever, this is the song that could have been the Port Adelaide AFL song, but didn't. It came second.
We're the black, white and blue, and we're gonna get you. We don't give up till victory is ours. We're Port Adelaide bred, and we come out ahead. We're the boys from the port, we're Port Power. And the power comes from the people, and the people who follow the power give their never-ending support, because their hearts beat only for Port. So forever be true to the black, white and blue. We don't give up till victory is ours. We're the Alberton crowd, we're Port Adelaide proud. We're the boys from the port, we're Port Power. Yeah, we come from the port, number 1 in the sport. We're the boys from the port, we're Port Power. Hey!
There you go. What do you think? I actually don't mind it. It sounds new age, but with a little bit of a traditional sort of vibe to it. I don't mind it at all. Vinny in Grange has called in. Hey, Vinny.
I had this dream about a song. I was thinking of the Flying Falcons.
Yep.
And with a Johnny Farman background sound. I clicked it together, but I wish I could write it. It just clicked to me one night. I thought, this has got a bit of power. Not port power, but song power.
A song power, okay. Yeah.
I mean, mean and gritty. So I don't know. It's got to be tough, not weak.
Yeah, I agree. You're going to have to record it into your phone and send it to us, and just get the beat going. Hello, Steve.
Oh, g'day, Jade. Yeah, that Port Power song wasn't too bad.
It wasn't, was it? I think. Well, apparently it was a dead heat. And then Bucky's son, I think he said in the interview, wasn't it, that he chose it. So he just got pipped at the finishing line.
Yeah, it's got that old traditional sound to it, but which is a gripe of mine because North Adelaide's club song, written by Johnny Mack, was a classic, but they modernised it about 10, 15 years ago, and it just doesn't sound the same. The old Johnny Mack version was the better club song for the Roosters, so I hope they sort of go back to that one.
You'll have to tell them that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I've put up with it. I've put up with the new sound for quite a few years now. I just don't like it.
Do you know what? You're not alone, because I'm getting a couple of text messages here saying, bring back the old Johnny Mack version of the Roosters song. Thank you, Steve, very much. Have a lovely afternoon. And thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a lovely afternoon. The Sports Show with Timmy G and Rowie is coming up next. Let's do it all again tomorrow. Bye for now.
The future's in our students' hands. That's why phones shouldn't be. The state government is banning mobile phones in all public high schools.